families in Hillsborough County as Alpha House. The emergency shelter is changing their name and expanding their operations. In today's In Depth, members of the New Dawning Family Services sat down with Spectrum Bay News 9's Erin Murray to talk about their expanded vision.
Homelessness is something we've all witnessed here in Florida. This year, I count in Hillsborough County, 1,650 people are experiencing some form of homelessness. And that's why today I am joined by Pat Langford and then also Tina Dumar. You guys are with Dawning Family Services, but many people actually might know that formerly Alpha House Tampa, right? You guys have a big change here. You guys have changed your name and expanding. Explain why. Is it because of some of those numbers that I just talked about?
It is. There are a number of reasons why we decided to go on with a name change for the organization. There is a similar sounding named organization in Pinellas County, and funnily enough, funnily enough, we would get their mail, they would get our mail. So there's a lot of confusion between the two organizations. But also, we thought that the name was just a little bit of a geographic limitation for us. We are so much more than services just in the city of Tampa. We provide services throughout Hillsborough County, or for everyone in Hillsborough County. So we wanted a name that was not that limiting for us.
Absolutely. And Tina, you guys are certainly expanding. That also means a new location as well, right?
Yes. So we have sold our property on Tampania, and we purchased a new property in West Tampa on Armenia. Okay. And so with that, it's going to allow us to serve a population of greater need, and we're just super excited about this new opportunity for us.
Absolutely. And we know that so many people who experience homelessness, they have a lot of different reasons. Tell us a little bit about who you guys are trying to help, and especially now with this expansion, who you guys will be reaching.
We're primarily helping families with minor children, and that can be a homeless woman on her own, or that could be a two-parent family, that can be a multi-generational family. The commonality is that there's a minor child that is a member of the family.
I think so often, so many people, when they think of homelessness, they think, oh, that's just one person. They think of maybe a veteran, or just maybe somebody who's down on their luck. But so often it is families with children in our schools here, right, and things like that. So what are some of the needs that families really aren't getting that you guys are trying to get to them?
Well, the main part that is the biggest piece for Dawning Family Services is to move our families quickly into permanent housing and help them sustain that housing, because we don't want to just cycle families through permanent housing and have them come back into homelessness because they couldn't make the rent or whatever issue prevails. So we provide that post-shelter service, okay, so that we're following our families once they're in permanent housing to assure that it's a sustainable environment for them.
Which means you're checking in. It's not like they just come in, stay, go, and then you never see them again or reach out to them.
Right.
And is that with caseworkers? How are you maintaining contact? I know that can be difficult with families facing homelessness.
It is contact with our case management staff, and one of the components we offer is called rapid rehousing. So we're actually helping families find and secure their permanent housing, and with a rental subsidy, we can offer some short-term support. So that can help with security deposits, it can help with first month's rent, second month's rent, and then all to make sure that the family can then sustain that rent once our support is over, our financial support is over. Absolutely. And then it's at least a once-a-month check-in with a case manager.
And what about jobs and things like that, or education, access to that if the parents maybe need that? How do you help set them up with those kind of needs?
Well, as soon as a family comes into Dawning Family Services, really the biggest question is, what's your housing plan?
Right.
And then what are the impediments to that plan? What barriers do you have? Are you underemployed? Are you undereducated? And then what's the income level like? If you need a 2-bedroom apartment because your family is larger, that's going to be a little bit more rent than a 1-bedroom. So how are we going to get you to a level where you need to be in order to sustain that apartment? And that's the work that's done with our case management staff. And In a couple of months, we'll actually be bringing on an employment specialist to help families look for, secure employment, how to work with those soft skills, how to sit through an interview, how to answer some of those tough questions. So it's all about getting that family ready for that permanent housing.
Because I feel like sometimes, you know, even if you do have a high school background, college background, those are questions that the everyday person might have, much less somebody who's dealing with all those stresses of homelessness.
Right.
Well, you know, one of the other things I want to touch is I know you guys are doing a great job. So many organizations are, but what more can be done, do you believe, on maybe a county level or a state level?
Well, I think the biggest issue that we're all facing, and it's not going to come as a surprise, is the lack of affordable housing.
Right. I mean, everybody knows that the rents, things like that, are so expensive right now, and even buying a house can be hard.
Yeah, and also for some of our families, especially for the women who we serve, if they're in a position where it's a part-time job, which really doesn't always come with benefits, or hardly ever comes with benefits, if their child gets sick, they can't go to daycare. So mom will have to stay home. Mom is
missing out that day.
Exactly. And how long can mom stay home from work because her child is sick? So that job is in jeopardy, and then it begins that whole cycle of now we're finding ourselves in need of services. We might find ourselves in need of shelter because we're being evicted. So it's that whole hamster wheel.
Right.
So
which we so often hear, which is so true. Now, when people they're hearing us talk right now about this that surrounds all of us, we see people when we're driving in our cars or even walking, down the street. They may be thinking to themselves, well, what can I do? What would you guys say to that, Tina? What would you say that people at home maybe can do when they see this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, getting involved with an organization like ours, I mean, obviously I'm kind of selfish on that front, but
yes, of course, locally, find someone that's helping, right?
Exactly.
And what do you think, Pat? Is there anything at home that people can do? Is it going to your website or finding different ways like that?
We would love people to go to our new website. It's www.dawningfamilyservices.org. There are many ways for individuals, groups, corporate entities to get involved. We are going to be going through a capital campaign, so the community support for our new building would be phenomenal.
Perfect.
And there will be multiple volunteer opportunities in the future, but I think for right now the simplest thing to do is maybe send us a gift card to a grocery store, to a big box store, so that we can offer our families that support when they come into shelter.
Well, that certainly definitely goes a long way. Well, thank you both so much for sitting down with us and going in depth. We really appreciate you being here, Tina.
Thank you so much for the invite.
So much.